Hi friends, I'm happy to be with you today. Today I have another dog book. It's called Sirius The Dog Star, and it's by an Angelique Perot, and the pictures are by our Emily Harris. We've seen a few books by her. She does a great job with the illustrations. Starlight, star bright, first star I see tonight, chanted Nathan to the big Newfoundland dog beside him. It was a cold, clear night off the coast of Maine. Boy and dog gazed at the darkening sky as the stars blinked on, one by one. Nathan gripped the rail of the gold hunter and tipped his head back. Look, there's Orion, the hunter. Follow the 3 stars in his belt southeast to Canis Major. That's Latin for the big dog. And that star there, the brightest one of all, is Sirius. When he heard his name, Sirius barked and wagged his tail like a feathery flag. He raised a webbed paw as big as a bear's foot to shake. Nathan laughed. That's right, Sirius, you are the dog star. At sunrise, the sea was calm, a mirror of the fiery sky. Red at night, sailors' delight. Red in the morning, sailors take warning, Nathan recited. Means weather's a-brewin'. As the day grew older, the waves grew higher. The schooner began to buck like an untamed horse. Batten the hatches, commanded the captain. Nathan and the crew lashed and tied, dashed and tried to secure the cargo. A huge wave, bigger than any they had come before, lifted the bow of the ship. The sailors hung on with all their might. Water, cold as a winter river, rushed across the deck, sweeping every loose thing into the sea. Sirius floundered in the flood, floating ever nearer the edge. Nathan watched, eyes with horror. The big Newfie was his best friend. He had to save him. The boy looped a line around the mast. He seized it and skirted across the slanting deck. He grabbed the dog's collar, threaded the line through, and tied it with a square knot. Now Sirius was safe. The dog licked Nathan's face to say thanks. The wind was rising. It moaned in the ship's rigging like an injured animal. The gold hunter wallowed in the wild waves as breaker after breaker battered her bow. Nathan grasped the mast with desperate hands. Fear stabbed at his heart. He had never seen waves bigger or wind fiercer. And he was cold, so cold. Ice was forming on his face and clothes. Small ice balls hung to the dog's whiskers and fur. Ice was forming on the ship, weighing it down. Suddenly there was a thud, and the schooner began to tip. We've struck a ledge, cried the captain. Abandon ship. Nathan's numb fingers fumbled with the line that held Sirius to the mast. He retied the end around his own belt. Now they were bound together, friends to the end. They leapt into the lifeboat. A rising billow lifted the dory away from the sinking ship. The little boat tossed this way and that in the raging sea. Night was coming. Boy and dog huddled in the bow. Oh, Sirius, what shall we do? Nathan whispered. Suddenly Sirius barked. Nathan glanced up and saw a glint in the distance. A light, sir, a light, he called to the captain. All eyes strained to see. It's Boone Island Light, the captain explained. We'll be safe if only we can reach it. The men rowed wearily toward the light. For 6 long, dark hours they battled the wind and the waves. At last the tower of Boone Island Lighthouse loomed above them. The surf boomed on the jagged rocks. How shall we land, sir? Asked one of the crewmen. The dory will be smashed to pieces if we try to get closer. While the captain considered this problem, Sirius began to bark. He barked and he barked. Soon lanterns appeared on the shore. It was the lighthouse keeper and his son. Follow our lanterns, shouted the keeper, Williams. He and his son Charles trudged to the other side of the island where the surf was calmer. The exhausted sailors used their last bit of strength to row around the island. Still there were rocks as hungry as sharks' teeth. "Come in on the 4th sea," Keeper Williams directed. Nathan knew what it meant. Every 4th wave was higher than the rest. His heart was thumping. The men were weak and nearly frozen. They no longer had the strength to swing the boat in time to catch the highest wave. They needed a miracle. Then Nathan had an idea. Cyrus was strong and brave and a good swimmer. Could Nathan send his friend into the sea? It was their only chance. "Jump, Cyrus, jump," Nathan commanded. The big dog leaped into the water. A wave broke over him and he disappeared. Nathan held his breath. Then the dog's head bobbed to the surface. The boy tossed the bow line to Cyrus. The dog caught it in his teeth and paddled in place, waiting. Nathan counted the waves. 1, 2, 3, and here comes 4. "Go, Cyrus, go!" With strong strokes, the new feet splashed toward shore, his tail straight behind him like a rudder. The wave lifted the dory over the last of the dangerous rocks and onto the solid ground. Cyrus scrambled across the slabs of sea ice and presented the bow line to Keeper Williams. Strong hands pulled the dory to safety. The keepers lifted the frozen men out of the boat and carried them to the lighthouse one by one. Later, after everyone had thawed out, the men talked about the rescue. "We heard the dog barking," explained Keeper Williams. "Otherwise, we would not have known you were out there. He is one amazing dog." "He sure is," exclaimed Nathan proudly. "He's Sirius the Dog Star." And that's the end, my friends. Aren't those illustrations wonderful? Anyway, you guys have a great weekend. I'll see you next week. Bye.